15 more reasons that women are irrational. Men can be irrational too. Like how they give up on their dreams and values, if they even have any, and then they submit to women and allow the women to lead, which is by default. If the man's not leading, the woman is. And then the men only do it because they want the pleasure of intimacy with the woman. But with that post-nut mental clarity via self-intimacy, men become very rational. And women should value that, because a man who is in that awareness and high consciousness does not want to have premarital intimacy with a woman, does not want to seduce her, and considers women sacred and wants to treat them as who they are, women, which is really treating themselves well, because this is our shared experience of what being human. And so let's wake up to this. We'll team up, we'll become aware of this, because the dark psychology of men is pretty straightforward. It's if they have these intimate urges, then they're gonna act on them. But once they get beyond that, then there's a lot of clarity and love to be had. And so, firstly, number one, women, they do is they'll encourage each other to experiment and be promiscuous and do what feels right, and I love that for you. Even mothers will encourage their own daughters to engage in premarital intimacy, and I think this is because a lot of women have this unconscious resentment and envy of each other, and it's pretty crazy, but we got to become aware of it. And number two, women will do all this makeup and body work in order to appeal to men, but men that really likes her doesn't care about the other stuff that's covering up the real her. And if women were smart, they'd actually know that you can't only use your body to attract a man. You've got to consider what values and interests he has and try to adopt some of that. And that's what really appeals to men. Number three, women will give their body to men without a commitment. And they think that will convince a man to commit, which is illogical, because if you want an exchange, then you have to exchange a fair value exchange. In this instance, the body for the commitment. And it's everyone's, it's the man giving his body, the woman giving her commitment too, but from a sociological standpoint, So number four, women think that men actually want a woman with like a career and money and with bedroom experience. No, men want a woman who is provided for and protected by her family and friends, and is purity minded and has no attachments to other men, and there is no freedom and wealth in a woman working and having a career. The wealthiest women are those who are provided for and protected by men, from the father and male figures in the family to the husband. And number five, women hate and they disrespect the very men who care about them the most, and want to provide and protect them, such as their fathers, uncles, brothers, and their future husband. And so they'll do things like wear the wrong clothing. If the father wants them to dress up, They'll do all the wrong things and attract all the wrong people. So they don't really think about what their husband would want. And of course, men are guilty of not thinking about, hey, what would my future wife want? She'd want you to save up money and not waste it on random women you don't care about. Number 6, women say they don't like to be submissive or be told what to do, but then they submit to predatory men. And often these men are guys who may look attractive, which is actually feminine for the woman to be going after the man, and those guys will end up taking the woman's money and time, and so the guy has to be the one pursuing the woman in order for there to be that polarity of the man is the initiator. Number 7, women and of course men get distracted by the meaning of life, which is a woman's flower, and nothing is more important than a woman's flower. If humanity doesn't follow this, they're gonna suffer the consequences of worrying about comparing bodies and possessions and always trying to one-up each other. And women can't celebrate their own body and their flower. It's really up to men to express how important their bodies are and give head to the flower, compliment her, and make that more of a more important than wanting to get for women to give you head. Yeah, and so on a lighter note, number 8, being irrational can make life interesting, and so women have a certain mystery that can be entertaining and make for funner culture and more spontaneity. That's a good thing, but only if it's safely contained by men who care about the woman. Number 10, when women dress revealing, but they also get upset and nervously are like double checking their body to see if they look presentable when men look at them, it doesn't make sense. Like, if you want to dress, show off, then show off and enjoy, get the attention instead of feeling weird about it. Number 10, women, they have this want for children, but not really for the husband to support them so they can be in their feminine. And so what happens is women have this idea of getting pregnant by a non-provider man and then trying to get a husband male influence and not trying to get a husband. Instead, these women, they want government assistance or the employer to pay for their maternal leave. But then even if that happens, like, what in 6 months when the mother has to go back to work, then what? So they can work to pay somebody else to raise their children? Like, it doesn't add up. Number 11, women have this idea that it's in a perfect world, it's better to have a maid and an au pair and a cook and a school teachers to care for their children, so that they can go shopping and go on vacation and watch TV and have a career. Like, there's nothing more important than raising children. And the whole point of life is not to let the government school system or strangers who you hire have control over your children. The whole point is for the husband to work and have the affordability so that his wife can teach the children the values that she and him share. And this is not This is a role playing. It's not a superiority thing. The husband's just as vulnerable as the woman. He's committed, he's working, and he's trusting her to raise them the same values. This is about not over concentrating power into government and school systems. Like a strong America, or wherever we live, strong country involves a deconcentration of power where everyone is strong independently of each other. Just like if you were growing your own food and not needing to rely on one like big chain store to provide that food. Okay, and then number 12, women have this idea that predatory men who say feminism is good and that women should be allowed to be promiscuous, those men do not want to commit to them. So of course there's certain men are going to say, yeah, gay feminism. Number 13. So one thing women do is they might try to attract more, some men they're attracted to, or maybe men who can give them more physical pleasure in the bedroom, but this is hedonism. It's and then making fun of men who legitimately want to care for them. And see, what it is it's you either choose predatory men or you choose men who want to protect and provide for you, which is a trade-off, because they're gonna have authority over you because they are the one paying the bills. But you can determine before if you have the same values. If you do, it won't feel like a power struggle. It won't feel like a transactional experience. And women, number 14. So women will try to make fun of men's bodies and their privates, and not willing to admit that women's internal privates are imperfect as well. They're actually disproportionately larger than most men's privates. But you don't see, but men also do this. They make jokes about women's chest and women's internal privates. But I consider these men weird because, they seem more interested in, men's privates, and women's chest, which is designed for babies, as opposed to women's flower, which is what humanity is. That's the flower of life. Now women, number 15, women. Here's something else they do. They refuse to define an ideal situation where women say, yes, this is who I am, and this is what I want, and I want, in a perfect world, I have a husband, provider, and women basically hide in the gray area of arguments. They don't really want to say what they prefer because they don't want to be held accountable. Number 15. So all these seemingly attractive women they have makeup and body enhancements, like on Instagram, they're trying to look all fancy. They may seem attractive, but guys, all that really matters is whether if a person is attractive and strong, then they should procreate. Otherwise, what's the point of their life? Number 16. This is a bonus now you guys have. So women are more likely to embrace Christianity in particular because Christianity is about deferring responsibility to a Jesus character to solve the world's problems. And it's also about worshiping a man, which, why would other men want to do that? And also it's about saying that that believing in something is all you have to do, which, no, what you have to do is you need to take actions. And even like the Jews who follow the Ten Commandments, that's taking actions of following those, instead of thinking that you can do whatever you want, like how a lot of Christians are engaging in premarital intimacy because they think they'll be forgiven. But as a man, I'm interested in worshiping woman's flower, not some Jesus or a deity. So I'm going to conclude here. Society, okay, it gets funner when women get to be in their feminine, their creative, mysterious selves. But when people want to get some money off of women's, because of the taxes they make, the tax revenue, or they want to, whatever it is, benefit from women working, society doesn't collectively benefit. Even the rich people, their children will have to deal with all this cultural mess. We need to be honest, guys, that women, they use birth control, which no man would ever use birth control, like hormonal birth control, you know what I mean, to make him less of a man. And that's what it does to women. And so we need to, and like women say, oh, they can use offing their children, their unborn children, as birth control, instead of trying to use the patriarchal institutions of fathers and husbands to ensure that they won't have unwanted pregnancies. And I get that this doesn't apply to all women, but for most heteronormative women who want children and would prefer to be protected by a man, so that they can enjoy being in their feminine. And so men shouldn't have to worry so much about what women think, because women, men shouldn't be worrying about what women are thinking, because women are emotional and they don't do well alone. And so it should never be a man following a woman, because then it doesn't make any sense. The women they don't understand about commitment and a sustainable marriage, and they come up with all these ideas of, oh, it's fine to give a man my body and date them. Like, what does dating even mean? And men, of course, we need to be careful of this whole idea of wanting to have an Instagram lifestyle, where of appealing to the masses, like fancy, wanting to fancy cars and just save that money and use it for your family. Use it for, if you go to church or you have the same values, as certain other people, help them perpetuate those values. And remember that the flower is simultaneously the reward, it's the meaning of life, it's the source of life. And when you think of her, woman's flower, the rest of your life can always return to a sense of peace. And women might say that, oh, this is objectifying them, all this kind of discussion, but we live in a physical world, and we need to celebrate one object the most. And that object, I think it's appropriate we celebrate, is women's bodies. And if humans choose not to embrace that and not to celebrate flower, then you're gonna always be stressed out by comparing, in everything but Mother Nature, I don't think, is going to allow that forever. And one way or another, humans will be gone if they can't discover and celebrate the human experience and the flower. And you don't have to worry, because we will incarnate into other worlds, because that's who we are. We're consciousness, guys. So let's elevate to this level of love frequency and not lust, and let's clean and purify ourselves, and subsequently we'll have a reason to want to live more and enjoy more adventures as humans. Aloha.